After the Second World War ended in 1945, America raised with a strong economic and political power. Society started to change very rapidly. So American literature after this World War was influenced by many factors. Hello everyone, welcome to Slideshow English. Hope you're doing very well. Today we will discuss about the fifth and the last phase of the History of American Literature video series. So if you haven't yet watched our previous 4 videos, make sure you do this. We upload 2 videos every week. So if you want, you can spread literature by subscribing to our channel. But for now, let's make English straightforward. Basically, the contemporary or postmodern period in American literature is the time after the end of the Second World War till now. The World War, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Cold War have their influences on literature of this time. Now, Americans consider themselves as the most powerful party in world economy and politics. America's conflict with Soviet Union and the invention of nuclear bomb influenced shaping American literature. The late 20th century is also known as the age of technology. Many scientific discoveries and inventions impacted upon the ordinary Americans' lives. And this mentality of invention also can be seen in the field of literature. Authors started to write in their own invented way and neglected the literary conventions. They tried to write in such a unique way that the whole world can be inspired by them. Because Americans always had the mentality to lead the world in every aspect of life. Beside this point, American writers tried to write more better than British literature. Especially women and black-skinned people who were very much repressed in the 19th century now make their appearances in literature. Now after this brief overview, let's jump straight to the general characteristics of the literature. Writings of the contemporary period were very dynamic. All the forms of literature like poetries, short stories, novels, dramas, essays started to grow. These writings were written on various themes. Identity was a major theme because many African American writers started to publish their works. Racism was also an important theme. By these writings, we find a solid picture of common people, their works and lives. Literature was a very good evidence of how Americans reacted to the modernist era and its culture. Authors wrote on humanity, morality, and their importances. Irony also became a very popular literary item. Many authors used irony in their writings. Irony was not something new in literature, but in the contemporary time, irony started to use very regularly. But let me clear you one thing, that American modernism was short in length, but it had a very strong influence on postmodernism or contemporary age. Poetries, short stories and novels really took inspiration from American modernism. It is also important to notice that the use of metaphor had grown up in this time. After the massive Second World War ended in 1945, America became a giant in the field of politics and economy. Its conflicts with Soviet Union was a remarkable incident of history. It had a deep impact on American literature. There is not a proper division between modernism and postmodernism. Scholars suggest that the Second World War is the turning point, but many others do not consider this contemporary period as a historical or literary movement. But no one can underestimate the major effects of the Second World War. Second World War was changed the way people thought and wrote. Many writings of the period was directly focused on the horror of the Second World War. Beside all these stuff, the arriving of the women writers and African American writers is the major part of literature. Now let's have a look into the famous authors and their writings. Richard Wright's autobiography, The Black Boy, was published in 1945, was one of the earliest contemporary writings. James Baldwin wrote Go Tell It on the Mountain in 1953. His writings were majorly about racism, sexuality, and class barrier. His other famous writings are The Fire Next Time, Another Country, I Am Not Your Negro, etc. Ralph Ellison also wrote about black men in The Invisible Man. Toni Morrison was another American essayist, novelist, editor, and a professor. The Bluest Eye was her debut novel published in 1970. Her other famous works include Song of Solomon, Beloved, Home, Paradise, and so on. In 1993, she got her Nobel Prize in Literature. Norman Mailer was also another famous author of the postmodern America. He thought to be one of the greatest American journalists and playwright. His famous books are The Naked and the Dead, The White Negro, An American Dream, The Fight, and others. He died in 2007. Other famous writers of the contemporary period were Lorraine Hansberry, Alice Walker, Vladimir Nabokov, Philip Roth, Jonathan Franzen, Don DeLillo, and many others. So in this very small video, we tried to give you the concept and important informations in a very simple way. But postmodernism actually needs more space to be discussed. So put your thoughts about this in this comment box. Besides that, we highly recommend you to watch our previous videos on American modernism because that will clear your concepts. Surely we will be meeting on another Slideshow English video, but before this video ends, let me recite one of the Alice Walker's quote where she said, "What the mind does not understand, it worships or fears." Thanks for watching.